The overhead squat. Why do we overhead squat? This is the most challenging and advanced of our double leg squats. This movement expands on the air squat and front squat. So if you haven't checked those out yet, please do so before advancing. There is no real functional component to this movement, but it is essential to the snatch, an Olympic lift you'll learn later in the series. It's the ultimate core exercise for squatting. It helps develop midline control, stability, and balance. It creates unparalleled upper torso strength, allowing us to stand and walk around with a natural upright posture. It has a high neuromuscular recruitment, thereby increasing the neuroendocrine response. To perform this movement well, you'll need a proficient air squat and flexible scapula. Any deficiency in the overhead squat will be magnified when attempting to land in a squat snatch. And obviously, my overhead squat isn't 100% as I still need to work on my range and mobility in the air squat. Key points of movement. Same as the air squat. Maintain a neutral spine position. Keep your weight in your midfoot and heels. Send your hips below the knee. Track your knees in the direction of your toes. Plus, specific to the overhead squat, elbows are locked out overhead with a wider grip on the bar. The bar should remain over top of your ankles throughout the movement. The setup. This is the same as our air squats with a shoulder width stance and toes slightly turned out, a neutral head position, and standing upright to finish the rep. But specific to the overhead squat, your hand position on the bar may initially be wider than your front squat grip. As a good rule of thumb, start by resting the bar in your hip crease when your arms are at full extension, and as your shoulders become more mobile, you'll be able to move them in. The closer to our shoulders, the better for stability. We're looking for optimal balance and stability. If your hands are too close, you won't have the flexibility to keep the bar overhead while squatting. Too wide, and you'll start recruiting much weaker shoulder muscles to support the bar overhead. It will also be much easier to drop the bar forward or backward if needed for safety. Retracted and engaged shoulder blades. Think of pulling your shoulder blades down into your back pocket. This will create a super stable support position for the bar. Externally rotated humerus or upper arm with the crease of your elbows facing up. This will give you optimal balance and stability of the bar overhead. Execution. Weight distribution. Weight needs to be in your heels. This activates our posterior chain, our engine for movement and stability. Take a deep diaphragmatic breath and squeeze your abs. This will help to maintain a neutral spine throughout the movement for safety and maximum power output. Keep your chest up. This is for balance and weight distribution. Maintain retracted shoulder blades, locked elbows, keeping your armpits exposed and your elbow creases facing up. We do this to balance and support the load overhead. The bar should remain in the frontal plane or slightly behind throughout the movement. Our goal is efficiency, and moving the bar in a straight line over our center of mass is the name of the game. You may pull the bar back as you descend, but only to maintain it over the ankles. We shift the bar to allow for a lack of flexibility and range of motion in our scapula, shoulders, lats, and triceps. Butt should travel back and down until your hip crease is below your knee. We should be able to put a marble at the top of your knee and have it roll down to your hips. We develop more power with more depth. Also, it translates into better mobility and range of motion in day-to-day life. Push your knees out laterally on the way down and on the way up. This creates the most power and balance throughout the movement and recruits the big, powerful glutes. Stand up to full extension of the hips and knees. This helps to develop explosive hip extension, which translates into improved athletic performance. Common faults with simple fixes. Hyperextension. This compromises the natural stable position of your spine and leaves you more susceptible to injury. Again, take that deep diaphragmatic breath and maintain a really tight midsection throughout the movement. A rounded back. This could be due to weak or tight hamstrings and glutes. It compromises the natural stable position of your spine and leaves you more susceptible to injury. Again, maintain that tight midsection with that diaphragmatic belly breath. Not getting deep enough. This is probably due to poor mobility in your ankles, hips, and scapula. Focus on opening up those areas and you'll see your depth increase. Knees folding in. This could be that you have stronger leg extension than hip extension, or maybe some weak abductors. This puts a lot of pressure on the tendons and ligaments in the knees. Push your knees out laterally or spread the ground apart with your feet. weight in your toes. This is usually caused by poor shoulder mobility or even thoracic mobility. Focus on keeping your heels glued to the floor. You'll also want to create increased mobility and flexibility of your ankle, hip, and shoulder joints, as well as your thoracic spine. Bar travels forward or backward of the frontal plane. Again, this is either from a lack of barbell awareness or a possible lack of flexibility or strength in your scapula, your shoulders, and even your thoracic spine. Focus your efforts on awareness as well as strength and range of motion in both those areas. Shrug shoulders. This could just be a lack of awareness of your scapular retraction. Pull your shoulder blades down for engagement and stability. Thank you for watching.